What's going on, everybody? Matt here. So today I'm going to do kind of like a finale video, a huge recap of Avatar The Last Airbender, my thoughts on the series, because I did 3 reviews. I did a review for book 1, book 2, and book 3. But watching back and listening back to those reviews, I realized I very much specifically just focused on each book individually. I feel like in those reviews I missed out on some things, and I just kind of want to talk about the series as a whole rather than individually, seasons individually. So in this video, I'm just gonna, kind of just break down some of my general thoughts on the series as a whole, just give my overall opinion after reviewing each of the books. I guess I'll start by saying I absolutely love this series. It's pretty obvious from my reviews that I've really enjoyed the series. I even said it. And it's just so well done. Every time I watched it, I didn't want to stop watching. If I stopped at the end of book 1, I immediately wanted to jump into book 2. And that says a lot. That says a lot about a show. When you want to keep watching a show, obviously they're doing it right. And this series does so much right, from the characters, the world, the story, that just all the little elements in between that. Everything is done so well. I loved nearly every character in this story. There's some I dislike. You'll see that in my tier list coming up. But every character, all the main cast, the main characters in the story were really well done. Each had an amazing story. Looking back at them from the beginning of the series to where they ended was just amazing. You have Aang, this young kid, what is he, like 12 in the series? Yet he has the responsibility of an adult, being the Avatar and having to stop this 100-year war, bring peace to the world. Yet he faces so many challenges along the way. He has to learn 3 elements of bending, and he also has to figure out, how am I going to stop the Fire Nation? How am I going to destroy Ozai? How am I going to stop this war? And you see him struggling with all this throughout the season, whether it's learning bending or figuring out a way to stop this war. He is absolutely struggling. And it's just great to see the struggles, 1, because that makes for great character development, but 2, see him fulfill his destiny, fulfill what he set out to do at the end. And it creates for this gorgeous story and just gorgeous character growth throughout the series. And I like to compare Aang to Spider-Man. I don't like to compare characters, but they're so alike in so many ways, and they're just 2 fantastic characters who have this greater responsibility, yet do they really want to take on this responsibility? And you see that throughout Avatar, where Aang has to take on this greater responsibility, a responsibility that he should not have at his age, and one that in the beginning he doesn't want to have. He doesn't want to be the Avatar. He wants to be a kid and enjoy life, yet he has to be the Avatar and step up. And you see that throughout the show, where he just struggles, and it's just so well done, as I said. And his character was amazing. Another character that was amazing was Zuko. I think he had the greatest character development in this whole show. I mean, you look at where he started. He's this angry kid who wants nothing more than to capture the Avatar, to bring honor back to his name, to be accepted by his father once again. To where he finished, where he's not angry anymore, he's compassionate, and he wants to build a better world, a better Fire Nation, where everybody could live in peace, everybody could live in harmony, everybody can accept one another. And that's huge for his character, because you look where he started. All he wanted to do was be Fire Nation, take down everything, just have his father's acceptance. But then at the end, he's compassionate, he's caring, and just his destiny came full circle. And I love how he took those steps. He went back to the Fire Nation after betraying his uncle, betraying Katara in a way. And he went back and realized, this isn't my destiny. This is not where I want to be. I'm still conflicted. I thought this would bring me happiness, yet it didn't. And he took those steps to realize, I have to join Team Avatar. That's where I have to be. That's where my future lies. That's where my destiny lies. That's where I find happiness and break the confliction. And just seeing that redemption and just everything come full circle at the end was amazing. And he's definitely the standout character in the series, in my opinion, or at least one of them. There's still many amazing characters that just deserve so much recognition. You have Sokka, Katara, Toph, all having amazing journeys as well. One of my favorite characters in the show, if not my favorite, was Iroh, a man so wise, so connected to the world, filled with knowledge, very compassionate and calm. He didn't see the bad in people, rather how they can grow as humans. And he was just so wise, and I think you learn so much to him throughout the show. And he's really the heart of the show when you really look at him. He's just the purest soul in the whole series. And just the way that he helped Zuko grow, helped influence him, and just really drove him in the right direction. he is an incredible character. An incredible character, and they did amazing with this character. Like I said, he's the heart of the show. Without him, the show would still be good, but it wouldn't be where it's at. And he is just an amazing character, my favorite in the series, just because of what he stands for and how he's accepting of all. I can keep going on about all the wonderful characters in the show, but I'm going to move on to the story. The story in the show was amazing. It was very nice, very well told, and I really enjoyed it. So the story is basically Aang trying to master all 4 elements and bring an end to the 100-Year War. It's very nice seeing this journey that Aang took, learning all 4 elements. But I think just the story as a whole, just this 100-Year War, seeing how everybody was affected by this war and how the Fire Nation were on top, and seeing them just finish this war, all the epic fights, all the sad moments, was really well told. Mostly those final episodes, I think those were standout. Season 2 had some standout episodes as well, mostly those Bossing Say episodes. And there were some really surprising moments for me. I think some of the more surprising moments came in Bossing Say, where you realize the king was being tricked, and then Azula tricked the king, and then Team Avatar loses, and then we go to book 3, and they lose again at the Day of the Black Sun, when they're trying to, take over the Fire Nation, take over the capital, during, the time where the Fire Nation are at their weakest. But then at the end, they finally fulfill, their journey, and the story comes to a beautiful conclusion with all characters wrapping up nicely. I really enjoyed the story. You look at book 1, it's a very much journey-focused, centric book, where it's just every episode's a new journey in this world, until you get to the end where it's the Fire Nation versus the Water Tribe, and it's just really well told. There's some of my favorite episodes in that book, and yes, book 1, like I said, it's just very focused on the journey, focused on the journey ahead and how Aang's gonna accomplish learning all the bending he needs to learn. Book 2 is really where you dive into the story. That's where the story starts to really pick up, really starts to elevate, and kind of goes to a new level. It's a new level that the show stays at for the end, basically until the end. And like I said, it's very story heavy, where everything matters almost, and it's just really gearing towards the end. You have Azula, being a major character in this book. It's very much propelling the story forward. And then you have like the Bossing Say episodes. All those elements, all those episodes matter and play into the future episodes. And this basically transitions into book 3, where it's basically everything leading towards the end. They're just trying to figure out ways they could stop the Fire Nation. They attack the Fire Nation, they lose, and then attack again. And that leads us to the finale, where we see just everything come to light, everything conclude. And it's just a really well done story, simplistic yet complex at the same time. Now, the world that these characters lived in, the world that this story took place in, was another reason why I really enjoyed this show. I think the world was very well built, very nice, and very interesting. To start, the idea of bending, having the ability to bend one of the 4 elements of fire, earth, water, or air, was an amazing idea. I love that. I love the bending aspect to the show. But I also love how they brought this kind of fairy tale, mystical world to life in a show. It's something you'd read about in a book, yet it's very well told here, very well shown here, and it just created for some very interesting moments. It's something kind of like Skyrim in a way, I guess you could say. I don't really know how to compare the world or really describe it. It's just something not of our time and not of our history, really. I mean, it's something, like I said, that you'd read about in books, and these mystical elements such as the creatures and animals and the spirits just all blended together nicely. Everything about this world just worked, and it brought the story up a notch and just made for some interesting moments in the story. And I think the world was just so well built and very much a standout for me in this series. There's 3 more elements I want to touch on before I wrap this up. Number 1, the animation. I know nothing about animation, I'm not an animator, but I can tell you one thing, this show is absolutely beautiful. From the colors, the character designs, the world designs, everything was just so well executed, and it's just so beautiful to look at. I think the standout for me is the coloring. The coloring was just so well done, and the shadowing, I mean, it just looked gorgeous. There were so many beautifully colored moments. You look at book 1 where they have the red sky when Admiral Zhao rips the fish out of the water, and then you have book 3, the final fight with that orange and blue, very prominent as Aang took away Ozai's bending. The coloring on this show, the animation was just very well done, very beautiful to look at, like I said, and honestly, it's just a spectacle. The second element I wanted to talk about was the music, the score, the soundtrack for the show. It was absolutely beautiful, it was gorgeous. I like how they made the percussion instruments and the string instruments very prominent in the show, something that you normally don't hear in like a regular orchestra, but they really went heavy on instruments that you normally don't hear in shows. I can't even describe or name some of the instruments, but it really brought the feel of the world to life through the music, and it really just encapsulated all the feelings of the show and all the feelings of the characters, and it just was a beautiful soundtrack listening to all the pieces. I mean, just the music was amazing. I mean, there's nothing more to say. You have Leaves from the Vine, and you have like the love theme. It was just, a lot of it was just so beautiful, and I think it's very much something that's very prominent for the show's success. One little other thing I wanted to touch on was the intro. I always loved the intro to this show, how they show the four elements and then tell the story of the Avatar disappearing and the war. The intro was awesome. The third and final element I wanted to bring up before I wrap this up was the voice acting. The voice acting was incredible. I think every voice actor did a great job. They really showed emotion through the voice, and I don't know. The voice acting was very much a standout to me. Zuko, Iroh. You even have Mark Hamill as Ozai. Like, Mark Hamill. I mean, it's just, the voice acting was awesome. I love the voice acting, and they did amazing with it. But yeah, that's going to wrap up kind of my final thoughts. Like I said, I love this series as a whole. I absolutely enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing it for the first time after, always watching a few episodes as a kid, but now finally sitting down, older, finally able to really comprehend everything that's going on. It was just so wonderful to see. It is definitely a series I'm going to watch more in the future. I'm going to rewatch in the future. I got the Blu-ray set, and I'm excited for Korra. I watched the first season. I enjoyed that for what it was. I have my thoughts and reviews coming soon. But yeah, this story was just so beautiful, so well done. Avatar The Last Airbender is basically for me like a 9.2 out of 10. It's that good for me. And it makes sense. I mean, there's a reason it has a huge following. It's a reason why people love this show, because it actually is amazing and definitely one of Nickelodeon's best shows of all time and one of the best shows in general. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this kind of final thoughts, just my wrap up of Avatar The Last Airbender after watching it for the first time, please hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. It is free. You can unsubscribe at any point, but you probably won't want to, because there's some awesome videos coming soon, some more Avatar videos, Korra reviews, tier list, some other secret videos in the making that I think everybody will enjoy. If you enjoy Avatar, you will enjoy what's coming soon. But yeah, guys, that's been my final thoughts on Avatar The Last Airbender. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.